What's your favorite poverty meal that you still eat regardless of where you are financially? In Mexican. For us, it's usually quesadillas without meat, rice and black beans as the sides. For us it's usually chilaquiles. I used to manage a fancy restaurant in Hollywood. The guys in the kitchen made the most bangin' chilaquiles for the staff. I told the owners to put it on the menu, but they said it didn't go with the concept. Grew up poor, but my mom sure knew how to stretch a dollar. She would make steak fingers out of the cheapest cuts she could find, tenderize, fry them up, make gravy out of the drippings, and serve with mashed potatoes. The whole meal probably cost less than $5 in 70s dollars. And I'm telling you, nothing tasted better. I made it for my kids when they were growing up, and they still ask me for it sometimes. She would be 94 today. Love you, miss you, mom. Bowl of cereal. Shit on a shingle. Sausage gravy served over toast. Boiled potatoes and butter, don't care if I'm rich or poor. That is my go-to snack. Dal. Aside from turmeric, you can buy all the ingredients for less than $2 a pound. Oh yeah. Dal is magic. Lentils in general deserve more love. They are so good for you and are delicious. They make a great meat substitute if you're broke or just want to go meatless. Ghetto Mackets, make some pasta and add in whatever you can find in the fridge or cabinets. Cheese, lunch meat, spam, spices, etc. No two meals were ever the same. All this time I didn't even know it had a name. We would just do this to try to make a meal. I always called it poverty pasta. We used to eat squash and eggs growing up. Grew the squash and eggs are cheap enough, or trade with the neighbors. You just cut the squash into thin round and cook in a pan with a little oil until they are just soft. Scramble the eggs with the squash, add a bunch of pepper, some salt. Sometimes we ate it over noodles or rice. Breakfast today: saute zucchini, onions, tomatoes. Put in the middle of provolone grilled cheese. Cook eggs in drippings of previous items. Use grilled cheese to soak up yolk. Felt extremely fancy and it really cost nothing. Oven baked potatoes with salt and margarine. Cheap ingredients found in almost every home and easy to make. Also, the starch in potatoes makes you feel full for pretty long. Sprinkle over a decent layer of Lara's seasoned salt to really make the tatters tasty. Peanut butter sandwich. Nothing beats a good old-fashioned PB&J. Hold the J. This guy nut butters. Stew. There could be anything in there, but it's still delicious. My grandma, who grew up during WWII, taught me that you can make soup from almost anything. At least once a week I just throw a bunch of scrap veggies, leftover meat, rice and whatever other random bits are left over from the week's meals into a pot with some stock. Boil it all together and bam. We save the bones from every meal that had animal protein in it, then boil them to make bone broth. Super filling and nutritious. Then weaken the broth, BC it keeps forever. If you're too lazy to cook, you just dump a jar of broth, cup and a half of rice, bag or two of frozen veggies into a crock pot and walk away. Soup in 2 hours. Edit. Animal protein as opposed to plant protein. Steamed white rice. Cracker or egg in it while it's scorching hot. Stir aggressively and dash with soy sauce. If I have some roasted seaweed and that shiz. Super cheap breakfast, but oh man is it filling / delicious. Edit. Thanks for all the recommendations, everyone. Sesame oil, yum, pickled plum, furry cake, rice seasoning, spam, and cabbage are all on my list of ingredients to mix and match. To answer this, as it's getting asked quite a bit, I'm not Asian. I'm white. I do very much enjoy cooking, especially Southeast Asian dishes. If you have recipes you'd like to share for a frugal home cook who enjoys Asian cooking, please do so. This has become one of my go-tos. Maybe a bit of fried garlic and or sesame seeds. Some chopped spring onions or chives. Basically whatever's in the fridge. Edit. Fried garlic, not roasted. Toasted sesame seeds is something I've gotta try next time. But yeah, that's why I love it. Just get to experiment. And it's good every time. Grilled cheese sandwich. Edit. Added egg to the grill. Grilled cheese is great pretending to be bougie food too. My brother and I used to go to the store together and splurge on fancy iced cheese, i.e. still the pre-cut stuff in plastic in the dairy section, not the high-end stuff in the deli section or the fancy cheese cooler, and see who could come up with the best combination of cheeses and bread from the bakery section. I think we settled on sourdough, smoked Gouda, Havarti, and cream cheese. A fancy corporate event I went to had them displayed as crostini du fromage. Saltine crackers with shitty cheese melted on top. Saltines with butter. Beans and rice. I remember a big pot of beans living in the fridge. Hungry? Get some beans. Don't like what was for dinner? Get some beans. Upset stomach? Beans. That was 100% my grandmother growing up. Anytime you said you were hungry, beans. If you were lucky there were cold biscuits left from breakfast. To edit, in the southern US, biscuits are a heavenly baked good that's eaten sort of like a dinner roll, but tastes a million times better. We call those little flat desserts cookies. They're also good, but biscuits are delicious. Edit 2, since you guys are so fascinated by biscuits, my grandmother also made the other type of biscuits, cookies. They were called tea cakes, and they were amazing. I haven't seen them outside the southern US, so I think they're a regional thing. Egg drop soup. 1 quart chicken stock, 1 TBSP soy sauce, 1 TBSP cornstarch, 1 inch grated ginger, whisk into eggs, green onions sprinkled. Smashed potatoes with cheese. Was once my favorite poverty meal and now some kind of soul food lol. Hot dogs and baked beans. Beanie wieners. Butter noodles. Yes, and if you were lucky to have parm and garlic, then you're eating good. Edit, holy moly, did not expect this to blow up. Wow. Thanks kind people of Reddit. Add black pepper and you've got Casio EP. Edit, obviously it's not a truly accurate version. We are talking super budget meals here. Substitutions abound. Toast. If you have butter or something to slap on top, even better, but a few pieces of toast usually satisfies my hunger for a decent amount of time. I'm the opposite, toast always makes me hungrier. Yeah, I feel like whenever I eat toast I get this ravenous hunger for more. Ramen. Fried eggs with fried potatoes. This is not poverty meal. This a gold meal in Romania. Edit, Milamesc pentru premii. Also to the guy who argued with me on how to make fries potatoes. Duck you. The only meal Romanian dads knew how to cook when mom was away. I still regularly eat my struggle nachos. Tortilla chips with slices of American cheese on top and microwaved. Now that I can afford it, I'll throw taco meat on top every now and again, but still very much enjoy just the chips and cheese. If you're really feeling like a big shot, use some chorizo instead of regular taco meat. That shit is a bomb. Cream of mushroom soup and rice. Cream of mushroom soup plus pasta plus Costco frozen meatballs plus spices equals Swedish meatballs chef's casita. I told my mom that 380 people liked her recipe and she said, what? That's not really a recipe, but seemed proud all the same. Also all of these cream of mushroom recipes make me so happy, OMG. Peanut butter and sliced banana on toast. Now that I'm better off financially, I'll add real honey and ground cinnamon, because I'm a fancy bitch now. Bougie as duck. Pancakes. Cheap to make and filling. Can be eaten with whatever is in your fridge. Whatever is in your fridge and pancakes and beef fat plus olives. Make the pancakes with a little cornmeal, less sugar, and a bigger pinch of salt. And that meal really doesn't sound half bad. Quesadillas, with hot sauce, if there is any. Edit, I think a lot of people have different ideas of what a quesadilla is. My version is strictly a single tortilla with whatever cheese I have lying around, usually dollar packs of singles. That means no meat, beans, lettuce, tomato, etc. And I definitely don't use a foreman to make mine. Poverty meal? That's dinner where I come from. Wait. I felt this in my bones. Thing called gup. It's something my father came up with when he was super poor after leaving the army in the 80s when the economy was ducked. And it's now like a staple in our family. It's like a stroganoff or something, I guess. The recipe is 1 can of cheap cream of mushroom soup. One of those 80-cent things of sour cream. The empty soup can full of milk. A dash of $1 steak sauce. Seasoning and cheap ground beef over noodles. Costs just a couple bucks to make and feeds an entire family of 4. Editing to add the full recipe, I use Goya seasonal. And I generally put it over farfalle noodles, but fettuccine works really well though, so the general recipe I follow is as follows: brown ground meat with salt and pepper with a dash of Worcestershire sauce. Once that's browned, add in a can of cream of mushroom and a huge dollop of sour cream. Fill the pan with milk and add that too. Then some more Worcestershire sauce, some A1, and like a tablespoon of your favorite mustard. Season to taste with Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder and whatever else you think sounds good. Serve over noodles. I also suggest putting some Parmesan cheese over it when you eat it, cause it's good. Yeah, that would pretty much get you a poor man's stroganoff that tastes just as good as the real thing. Cinnamon sugar toast. My son once called this poor man's churros. The name has stuck in our household. I like to slap some butter and cinnamon sugar on a tortilla and bake it. It puffs up into a giant crispy cinnamon chip and it's fantastic. Came from my broke ass recipe plan Reddit. You guys are amazing. Didn't expect the huge response and now I literally have a plethora of great cheap meals. Baked beans on toast with grated cheese. I'll never grow tired of baked beans on toast. The grated cheese is for when there is money. I had a PB&J recently and felt like a ducking fool. Why did I stop eating these when I became an adult? Society led me to believe this was the way. It is not. Been having PB&J a couple nights a week since. I refuse to let society's unenlightened views dictate my dinner choices. PB&J is a top tier dish for any occasion. Plain rice, a fried egg and soy sauce. A gas station slushy mixed with gas station wine. Poor man's daiquiri. Edit. OMG. Thank you for the award. That sounds more like poor man's gastro drano. My mom's chili makes like 10 meals from $11. It gives you crazy diarrhea if you aren't super regular digestively. But goddamn it, I love it so much. Cinnamon toast. Just bread, butter, cinnamon and sugar mixed together. Also, I love ramen. Edit. Thank you for my first award. Stranger really was not expecting this comment to blow up. Apparently you'll love your cinnamon toast and ramen. I mean instant noodles for all your nitpickers in the thread lol. Second edit. I've always referred to margarine as butter. So when I say butter, I mean margarine. You're really are nitpicking the mayo. I love cinnamon toast, but I butter it. Sprinkle generously with cinnamon and sugar. Then stick that shit under the broiler till it forms a melted crust on top. Edit. As another editor pointed out, I meant to say until it caramelizes. Warm and crunchy and glorious. The bottom stays soft too, so it's got multiple textures. Second edit. Broil it until the cinnamon, sugar and butter forms a nice crunchy crust. Does that make your nitpickers happy? Lumpheo. Pizza in Italy was originally only eaten by poor people who couldn't afford proper meals, and so they used the basics of flour, tomatoes and other cheap items to come up with pizza. However, instead of the meat and other things on modern pizza, the basic vegetables make the pizza just as tasty, and I always enjoy eating it. Oatmeal with banana and peanut butter. Sleep. This is my favorite stress and depression food. Love it so much I have it every night. Literally just a plain slice of white bread right out of the bag. Finally, a fellow bread eater. English muffin pizza. A jar of pasta sauce. English muffins. Mozzarella and toppings of your choice. Fresh produce is dirt cheap. The pasta sauce is the most expensive part. And if you make it, and the English muffins at home, each mini pizza is like 30 cents. Edit. So, I need to call out my privilege here. I grew up broke, but I grew up adjacent to an affluent white neighborhood. Produce isn't dirt cheap or even available everywhere, but it should be. My kids use pita instead of the muffins, and it is one of their most requested meals. Campbell's tomato soup and crackers or a grilled cheese. Honestly, spaghettious. They remind me of my grandpa, Missy Grandpa Joe. Velveeta made a huge comeback in my house at the beginning of pandemic when we were scared, unemployed, and feeling sorry for ourselves. Kraft mac and cheese. Look at Mr. Big Shot over here buying the name brand. But seriously, which is better in your opinion? Regular or spiral? It's spiral all the way for me. Kraft used to, maybe still does, have a white cheddar spiral. Would cut up a chicken breast and saute it. Add to that, and boil a shitty chicken alfredo. Got me through high school. I'm a chef. I own a restaurant. I've eaten some of the finest foods on this planet. Very few things taste better than box mac and cheese with cut up hot dogs. If you bake that shit it's even better. 354 30 minutes. My mom calls it white trash casserole. White trash or a Reddit. Thanks for gold. Me slowly realizing I grew up poor. Me realizing I still eat poor. My great grandmother ran a boarding house during the Depression. Hobos that rode the trains knew if they needed a meal to go to the back fence. She fed them hobo sandwiches, which were whatever she had left. Homemade bread slices toasted in the skillet with a fried egg, slice of cheese, pat of butter, leftover slice of roast or ham or sausage or brisket. Whatever she had, she shared. There was a mark on her back gate post that said, "A nice lady here will feed you." Probably same age as you. My great fed hobos in South Dakota grew up on these stories. There's being poor and able to feed others, and poor that all you have to give is gratitude. Our country grew on the backs of those people and we've forgotten. We see burdens when we should see broad shoulders. God bless. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.